This is Shaughnessy McNeely with Global Refuge International. This past week has been an exciting one here in northern Thailand. We have had a medical team here from Colorado and have been traveling around doing clinics for people who might not otherwise be able to afford medical care. We started our week in the small town of Thad Thai, a remote mountain village near the Burmese border. We were able to set up and run a clinic for 3 days where we helped with everything from basic ear infections to draining an abscess on a young boy's head. We also began the first steps of a special project GRI is pursuing in this town. The church where the clinic was held sits near a village in which a few dozen amputees live, most of them having lost limbs to landmines during the constant skirmishes with the Burmese military. On our first visit to this village in February of 2006, we found that most of these men were using items such as PVC pipe and bungee cords in place of their missing limbs. Of course, this makes it extremely difficult for these men to put in their 8 hours of hard labor in the rice and tea fields every day. We were able to take detailed measurements and photos of some of these men because it is our vision to provide higher quality prosthetics for them, and we're excited that we have already found a team from the US who will help us do just that. We spent a day doing a clinic at another village before we left Thad Thai. We triaged in one section of a dark hut where the villagers poured in non-stop. We were able to treat over 100 Hmong, Shan, and Aka villagers that day who flocked to a place despite a massive rainstorm. Many of these villagers had not seen a medical worker in several years. Because we had such a diverse collection of people there that day, at times we were going through 3 or even 4 translators just to speak with the patients. The very next day we headed south, stopping at a Shan school on the way down to Chiang Mai. The majority of the 60 children we saw that morning received treatment for diarrhea and skin infections. Those that we saw were the children of migrant workers whose situation in the country doesn't afford them the low-priced health care of their Thai neighbors. The size of this migrant population is continually growing, thus making this area one that will continue to need assistance in the future. Upon arrival in Chiang Mai, we met with some local workers and accompanied them to a slum community on the outskirts of the city. Many villages populated by Shan migrant workers surround Chiang Mai. It was already dark when we entered the slum and set up triage out of the back of the truck. Approximately 35 people were treated that evening. This past week was a great example of how a few people, a little medicine, and a lot of reliance on God can help bring others hope. Hope does arrive in person, and Global Refuge is trying to get them there. Thank you for your prayers and support. God is using you to make a big difference in the lives of forgotten people across the world.